Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and in this video this is my experience with dirt racing in GT Sports as we leave the pits heading out onto Fisherman's Ranch, starting as always with qualifying. As we jump ahead to the flying lap. Now moving around the first corner, you can see just how little control I have over the steering compared to normally driving on a track. Following the German driver ahead towards the first two jumps of the race. Dropping down into third to try and make it around the corner as the Frenchman moves in on the inside to take us both. Heading up towards the corner of doom, and I end up overcooking it, sliding into the wall, but thankfully managed to quickly get back onto the power and back onto the track to continue the flying lap. Now dropping down to second to try and keep the car central around this next corner. Now bouncing off the car ahead towards the jump, going over and dropping down into second to slide round. Dropping down into first for this tight hairpin. Trying to power around the next one. Sliding out and keeping the power on just to move out of the hairpin corners down this sort of straight. And passing under the bridge, heading over towards the right side, but trying to keep as left as possible to make it through the next corner with as much speed, almost touching the wall as I slide round to the left, back onto the power. Dropping it down into third to make it around the next corner slot, and actually dropping down to second halfway through the corner to be able to tighten up the turn. Coming up towards the next jump of the lap. Keeping it central, dropping down into second and sliding around these two almost 90-degree angle corners. Foot down through the penalty zone. And just giving the wall a little tap there before heading over the final jump of the race. Braking down to second to slide around to the left. And quickly try and whip it back over to the right. One final left turn before crossing the line and setting a time of 3 minutes 29.9. Now that is good enough for 6th place on the grid. And now moving over to the race. Now in this race I'm actually driving the Ford Focus rally car. The auto drive takes over. The countdown starts before the start of the race. Coming out of the second corner, just heading into the third corner, as the driver behind darts in front and moves me down to 7th place. Now coming up towards the corner of Doom, we end up just sliding a little bit wide, heading out of the corner, down a little ditch, but through the penalty zone to back on the power. Now if you just look at the radar, you can see the car behind flying past, just catching the corner and actually pushing me back down to 7th place. We start heading towards the next jump. And coming through the hairpins, you can see the group very close together. I actually go wide here, causing me to bounce off the wall before turning to the right to get around the second hairpin. Moving to the inside of the Mitsubishi ahead, I actually bounce off them, manage to slide around the corner, get close towards the car in 5th and actually dart around the outside of them, heading towards the bridge after taking 2 places. Coming up for the next jump, and I actually take it a little bit too tight, causing me to bounce off the walls into the wall on the opposite side of the track, but thankfully I only fell down to 8th place before getting back on the power and back in the race. Now understeering like crazy through this next section, as we now skip ahead to the final section of the final lap, currently running in 10th place, sliding into the wall just before the final corner, coming around and to cross the line. Now I'll be honest, it's not the best result I've had. Now moving on to the second race, as you can see I'm in plumb last as my qualifying time was invalidated. This gave me some work to do. I've also moved over to driving the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo for this race. Coming through the first corner, I'm able to dart in just to move to the inside of the Mitsubishi ahead, taking 15th place from them. Turning into corner 4, sliding around and getting back on the power, heading up towards the jump. And now dropping down to 3rd gear to make it around the next corner with the pack ahead, all closely bunched together. As we come up towards the corner of Doom, and I actually managed to whip it around quite nicely. Unfortunately, not able to take any places, but I'm still able to hold her with the pack. I then dart for the inside of this driver ahead, but after a little bit of contact with the wall, I end up staying back in 15th. Moving to the inside line of the driver ahead, I managed to get past them into 14th, still having a little bit of contact on the wall to the left, jumping over the little jump. And I'm actually able to come through the group, moving up to 12th place after the jump, because it seems that everyone was having just a bit of a nightmare going through there. sliding out of the hairpin corners, coming up towards the bumper of the driver in 10th place, so they slide a little bit to the left, allowing me to move to the inside line and just overtake them as we head into this sweeping left-hand corner. But the driver I've just overtaken fights back and pushes me back down to 11th. But they do get clipped off the wall there, leaving me up in 9th place as we head under the bridge, over the jump, and around the sweeping left bend. And now skipping ahead to lap 2, we're just coming into the hairpins. I'm still running in 10th place. And you can see the 2 cars ahead as I managed to reduce the gap down, actually overtaking one round the corner, moving up to 9th. Just almost being taken up by the driver behind, but thankfully ghosting allowed him to just go straight through me and no positions were lost. And as you can see, the driver ahead of me just hitting the wall a little bit there, allowing me to overtake into 8th place. I think the driver in 7th also had a little bit of contact because he's going mighty slow. As we head into the braking area where I outbrake, managed to take 7th place heading into a sweeping corner. Not almost lost it, but managed to hold on as he moved to the inside. If you look at the radar, you can see him just passing by. But I managed to switcheroo past him, hold on to 7th place and keep going. And I'll be honest here, I did brake very late, causing myself to slide into the wall, allowing the cars behind to catch up, but I just managed to edge away, holding on to 7th place. And coming through the hairpin, you can see just how important the racing line is, as these 2 cars just absolutely dominate me coming out of the corner, pushing me back down to 9th place. And crossing the line to start lap 3, there's a battle going for 7th right now between me and the German driver. As I move for the outside, try and take him, but with them staying on the inside, they managed to just push me back out of the corner. Now coming up to the corner of doom, I come in far too hot and actually bounce the back of my car off of the wall, but thankfully I managed to catch it, slide and get back onto the track to overtake the German driver to move up to 7th place. and we're going to skip ahead to lap 5, around about the final section of the lap, still running in 7th place. And just after landing the jump, you can see the driver behind dart into the inside line to push me back to 8th place as we head around the corners together, fighting for the 7th. After a couple of scrappy corners through these hairpins, I managed to pull ahead a little bit, but I know he's not too far behind me, as I end up touching the wall just a little bit on the right, heading down towards the jump. You can see the driver behind is getting so much more speed out of that corner, out of that jump. He does slide a little bit wide coming through the left-hander, but then I do the same, swiping to the right. As he pushes me out of the way, heading towards the final line, I ultimately cross the line, taking 8th place on the grid. So all in all, I would say that's a much better result than the first race though. And that is it for this video. Thank you all for watching. Why not leave me a comment to let me know what you think of it? If you enjoyed this video, why not leave a like and maybe subscribe? I hope you're all doing well, and I hope to see you in the next one.